praise Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakodah. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to entitle this video, excuse me, I had a dream about the you know what, and there's no escaping it. And if you watch my videos or any other GMS videos, you would know it. The term you know what is MOTB, so you can understand. And I had this dream about an hour before I woke up, so I just had the dream maybe an hour and a half ago. And the dream was all over the place, like a montage of different events going on, scenes jumping around, me being in one place and then me being, you know, crazy bugged out dream. But anyway, anywhere I went, any scene that I was in the dream, because dreams are like in a movie, they had you know, had made it a law, and they put teeth on it. You know, when a president passes a law, if they put teeth on it, that means they're enforcing the law heavily. See, there's laws written in the books, the various states, even in the government, that don't really enforce it, but there's certain laws that they enforce or put teeth on it. When you go into legal language, putting teeth on it means to enforce it. If you do this, we're going to come down on you. If you do something else, we might give you a warning, might give you a ticket. If you do this, you're going to go to jail. You're definitely going to go to jail. So this, Trump was not in a dream, but I thought about Trump, and Trump is what he was talking about, what he's going to do with executive orders, day one. And right after the inauguration, he started signing. Matter of fact, let me do this. If you get a wide shot of this, these are orders, all executive. He's got it on a stack, and he's signing them, and he's holding it up with his signature. So what I did was I put in, so being that he's the executive order president, the cruel Lord, you know, when you read Isaiah, he says the cruel Lord, this guy is coming back cruel. So is he the cruel Lord in Isaiah chapter 19? We will read some of, or all of, Isaiah chapter 19, because when it speaks about, it mentions Egypt a handful of times, and we know that it's not talking about the geographical area known as Egypt on the map. It's talking about Babylon the Great, and this is the unofficial leader of the of NATO and the EU. We said that many times. So anyway, I'm gonna go into the dream, but let me just read this here. It says, a running list of Trump's planned executive orders. Well, they're already in effect. He put them in effect. He's signing off on these executive orders, these new laws, and some of them are unconstitutional. So this is going to be back and forth in the courts. This is going to separate the country more and more. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. It said a running list of Trump's planned executive orders, actions, proclamations, and legislation. Spoke as a dragon. That's legislation. Here's a look at what Trump signed on day one. Okay, so I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to read it. It said it's unclear which of President Donald Trump's executive orders or actions will have immediate impact or are merely symbolic. Well, you can put teeth, like I said, you can put teeth on it. You can enforce it. Now, when I wake up, I'll put on the news. I might put on CNN, then I might go to Fox, and I might go to not MSNBC. I'll go there too, but I'll go to CNBC, which is the financial news under NBC, just to see what's going on. Oh, by the way, Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum is in full swing right now. It always comes up around about the 20th, right, which is a Monday, the 20th of January, and I believe it's there for a week or 2 weeks or so. And there's these government leaders around the world, the super rich, the elite. And when you got government leaders coming together and this super rich, they work together. Like Elon Musk is pretty much a part of the government now because of his money. He's worth almost $500 billion. And that's called fascism. In the Congress, you have two fasci on either side. When they give you that wide shot, which goes back to the Roman Empire. Look up the fasci. The symbol of the Roman Empire was the eagle and the fasci. And Trump is definitely one of the Caesars, and I definitely believe that that's Nero coming back, because Nero was a hellraiser. Now they're saying they're comparing him to Julius. And he could be, based upon reincarnation, because it did say when you go to 2nd Ezra 11 and 12, it did speak about the three heads, and the one in the middle was greater than the other two. And that's the beginning of the eagle's reign. So the one in the middle is Julius, and it said that Julius will come back at the end. It will sleep and come back. These three heads will sleep and come back at the end. So he could be Julius Caesar coming back as Nero Caesar, and coming back as Trump, which is Nero again. And during the time of Nero's rule, during that time, you had 4 Caesars or emperors that all ruled inside of a year. And then it was Otho, Galba, Vitellius, and then Vespasian. And I always go into this. I know this by heart. And that was in a year. The first 3, one of them committed suicide. The other 2 was put to death by the Praetorial Guard, but one of them was put to death. And the historians argue, and they say that Vespasian was behind it, because why didn't Vespasian get killed? Because he was behind it. But before that, you had Nero. So during that time, the kingdom was shaky with that whole mess with the Israelites back then, and the Christians, the Jews, so to speak. So it was during that time period that people were saying Rome is dying, Rome is dead. If you read certain documents of historians, then their thing was to build back. We got to build back Rome, build back better. And that was really through Vespasian and Titus. So they to build back, you got to heavily tax people. That's what that whole war in 70 AD took place. Okay, I didn't get that. But anyway, so this is Rome all over again. This is definitely Rome all over again. I did videos on this. So it says Donald Trump is promising a golden age of America. Or they have a thing called Pax Americana, I believe you pronounce it, which goes back to Pax Romana, which means the peace of Rome. Pax Americana is the peace of America, if I'm saying it right. Pax is Latin, classic Latin for peace. In his second term, and he issues a raft of executive orders. Now, executive orders, when the next president comes in, which I believe he's the last president, he's going to usher in, I believe he's going to usher in, he's definitely going to usher in the chip if he's the last, if he ushers in, if he's the president or the king that ushers in the destruction, the missiles, the downfall of Babylon, he's going to be the same king that's going to order, through executive order, the micro C-HIP, which I had the dream that I had. Anywhere I went, you couldn't do anything unless you had that, the MOTB. And I would go into one office and you see somebody sitting down getting the MOTB. You see a doctor or a tattoo artist or whatever getting it, sitting down, putting their hand out. Then you would see another person at a store putting their hand out. Then you might see another person with a scanner on the person's forehead. And they showed you that in the movie I Am Legend, where they really was checking the temperature, but there's going to be a point where they're going to use a scanner on your brain. You got a brain chip? Okay, let me bring out the scanner. When you do a self-checkout, you use that scanner. If you get a big box item, there's a gun that you use, right? A scan gun, and you take the scan gun and you scan it and you put it back. So you don't got to pick up the box and break the machine there, right? It says Donald Trump is promising a golden age of America, which includes ultimately the MOTB. And like I said in previous videos, there's going to be a major shakeup. Christians aren't going to be talking about whether Jesus is God. You know what I mean by Jesus and the Gentiles. They're not going to be talking about that. You know what they're going to be talking about? They're going to be questioning whether that's the MOTB. When it actually comes and when it's enforced, and I believe, I'm saying it again, I strongly believe that Donald Trump is going to push it, and he's going to make an executive order that you have to get it. Or they may kick you out the country, but then if you go to another country, you're going to have to get it because it's going to be worldwide. Remember, it's that lamb with two horns that spake as a dragon. So executive orders mean speaking as a dragon. And you're going to find, as I read this list, you're going to find out that some of these executive orders are unconstitutional. Now, you cannot make a unconstitutional executive order. So, it'll be back and forth in the courts. It says in his second term, and he's issuing a raft of executive orders to try and make it happen. Executive orders means you speak as a dragon. Dragon, when you look up the word dragon, it goes back to Dracon. He was a lawgiver, a strict lawgiver during the time of the power of the Greeks. It said the president signed a slew of orders and directives that aim to end birthright citizenship. You know what that means? You got Mexican man, a husband and wife. They come to Mexico. They're Mexican citizens, so you can deport them back to their country. But if they have a child, a couple of children, those children are American citizens. So they call it anchor babies. And that not just from Mexico, but any country that you have somebody born that they supposed to receive citizenship because they were born in the country. But he said he's going to stop that. I don't care if you were born in there. You got to go back. Your parents are Mexican. You got to go back to Mexico. It said end birthright citizenship and crack down on illegal crossings at the southern border, increase domestic energy productions, and transform a federal government he views as both too bloated and too woke. Woke meaning liberal. You know, you have these, what do you call them? Not refugee cities. I can't think of the word. Anyway, it says it's unclear which of Trump's executive order actions will have immediate impact or are merely symbolic. And I'm gonna say it again, he's gonna pass an executive order that everybody has to get a MOTB. Don't be surprised if these people that have to go back to their countries, if he says, well, if you get the MOTB, you can stay. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to say, oh, yeah, where could I sign up? So there's going to come a time where all these Israelite groups and Christians organizations, they're going to be, the conversation is going to be around the MOTB. And if you don't have a backbone, a spiritual backbone, if you're not connected to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to take it. Because your teachers are going to tell you, no, you can take it. A lot of you look at a man. Hey, the scriptures say in Jeremiah, cursed be the man that trusteth in man. It says, but they're already facing challenges. The Elon Musk led Department of Government Efficiency, they call it DOGE, I think. That's a whole new department for the federal government. Drew lawsuits hours before Trump signed the paperwork to create it. Some of his more controversial orders include the one targeting birthright citizenship, and I spoke on that. Also, immediately hit legal challenges. Right, everything gonna go to the courts. And while Trump pledged in his inaugural address to create an external revenue service, which means you're going to tax the hell out of these other nations that bring in imports, which are called tariffs. To collect tariff is just a fancy way of saying a tax. A country makes a product, they want to sell it in America, they put a tax on it, they call it a tariff. And revenue for foreign nations, he'll need congressional approval to create the new energy agency. And I believe the Congress is majority Republican, if I'm not mistaken. Got to look that up. Here's a look at what Trump signed on day one and his executive action since. So all the people that got, even that assaulted officers and everything, the Gen 6 pardons, it says Trump pardoned some 1,500 people who were involved in the Jan 6 2001 riot. So some of them, so we're talking about, I think they got locked up, going back and forth in the court, let's say end of 2022, 2023. So they did time, they were locked up for about a year and change. So they're all free. Immigrations, okay? Trump signed a slew of executive orders on Monday aimed at delivering on his long-promised crackdown on illegal border crossings and immigrants. Now, when I woke up and I watched the news, I was going through these different news channels. They said that they're going to go into churches. You can be in a church. Churches are sanctuary cities, right? Like New York, that's out. And the mayor, the good mayor, Eric Adams, he'll be with it because he wants to get a pardon because they got him. They got him. They got all the people under him. They all resigned because the feds had information on these people. And he's saying, oh, I'm innocent, this didn't happen. Well, if all your people quit that fucking fast, they got some shit on you, and they're gonna speak. They're gonna testify against you if they want to deal. It says a long promised crackdown on illegal border crossings and immigrations more broadly. He also declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexican border, deploying U.S. armed forces to the region. That means, people are gonna get killed. They're gonna get shot. He intends to end birthright citizenships by issuing an executive action that would reinterpret the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment says if you're born or naturalized in this country, on this soil, that you're automatically a citizen. 14th Amendment that grants citizenship to all people born or on domestic soil. A move that drew swift legal challenges, including from the Democratic Attorney General, which the Democratic Attorney General is no more. Now it's a Republican. You have a new AG. Trump also moved to resume construction of the border wall and so-called catch and release, temporarily suspend refugee resettlements from certain countries for at least 4 months, restart the remain in Mexico policy of first term, restrict asylum using 212F of the Immigration and Naturalization or Nationality Act, designate drug cartels and gangs as foreign terrorist organizations, and invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to remove them. Let me look up the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. So now they're terrorists. So now the law enforcement can shoot them. Okay, so let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. Let me see here. Where am I gonna? Let me go right here. See, I don't get a lot of dreams or visions. I used to a lot, but when I get them, I get normally a vision. It's normally something that you got to take seriously. Okay, so now, you know what? Let me do this. Okay, under this law, the president could authorize the arrest, relocation, or deportation of any male over the age of 14 who hail from a foreign enemy country. It also provides some legal protection for those subject to the law. So let me come back over here. It says, or as he put it in his inaugural address, eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil. And I said, like I said in this news, before I did this video, they said that he's going to enforce these immigration laws. He's going to go into churches, which a church is a sanctuary. So he's going inside the churches and inside the schools. So you can have college students that are not legal citizens in America, and they can just go in there with the military or whatever, federal officials, and just grab the person up. So that's what they're planning on doing. And if they know where they live, they're going to go right into their houses and they're going to go into churches, their houses, and schools. So there's not going to be any place to hide. It said to direct the incoming Attorney General to seek capital punishment. Capital punishment means what? The death penalty. Let's look that up. I see him bringing the death penalty back, and he's going to have to bring it back for the MOTB, because what does Revelation 20 verse 4 say? I saw them beheaded because they refused to take the MOTB, capital punishment. Okay, capital punishment, also known as the death penalty. That's all I need to know. Capital punishment means the death penalty. So let's come back over here. For the murder of law enforcement and capital crimes committed by undocumented immigrants, excuse me. Okay, let's see what it says about health. Now the MOTB goes hand in hand with health and medical issues, because anytime you go to a hospital, whether you go to the emergency room or you set up an appointment, the first thing it always happens: can I have your driver's license or some valid ID and your social security number? That's the first thing that they want. You can be all in pain. They want you to sign that. I help you. I'll give you a pen and I'll put the paper to you. You just got to sign off and give me why? Because they got to get paid. They got to get paid. Okay, health. Trump said in his speech, the White House will instruct the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security, as well as other agencies, to remove non-binary or other from federal documents, including passports and visas, according to an incoming administration official. It will officially be, the policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. Trump said that's going to be a court issue. That's going to be ongoing in the courts. He also signed an executive order removing U.S. from the World Health Organization. He's not going to be able to do that. They'll bust a cap in him. He's not going to be able to do that. That's a part of the New World Order. Because the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, you have the CDC out of Atlanta, which gets their marching orders from the WHO, and that's going to work with the Charagma. Remember, the Charagma is going to be a world thing, but they're going to push it heavy in the United States. There's going to be certain model countries that they're going to use, probably China, and they'll get it going. So he's not going to be able to pull out of the World Health Organization. Neither would he be able to pull out of the UN. So we'll see. He's not saying anything about the UN. And he's a member nation that's a part of the UN. You gave up your sovereignty. You gave your sovereignty. You're under the laws of the UN. Reinstate military members who are penalized for not getting. Oh man, I don't even say this word because you know what they do. You know what they do. So the ones that said I don't want to take it and they were court-martialed, they can reinstate them. So they getting back pay too. They getting back pay. They're gonna sue for back pay. But he turned around and told the audience that you should take it as a bet, and they booed him. They booed him. This was some years ago, and then he shut the hell up. So anyway, let me go right here. Like I said, I saw the MOTB was all over the place. The MOTB was all, and I was running. I would go into the store and I would see somebody put their hand out or take a scan and put it on their brain. I went into an office and there was a doctor putting like everything. I was literally running. I said, let me get away from this. Let me go over here. Everywhere I went, The MOTB was ubiquitous. Look that word up. So let me go to, so I don't have to go into the scriptures on the MOTB. We already know what it is. It's not no thing, you know, the mark is sin in your hand and it's in your brain with natives teaching. Yeah, hey, the leadership of the IUIC, when that thing comes to pass, they're going to have a lot of people asking questions. They're going to be questioning you about what this really is. And if they're stupid enough, if you say that's not it, you can go ahead and take it, you're not breaking no laws, and they're stupid enough to do it, then that's on them. That's on them. And them Christians too. First of all, Christians, they don't understand the prophecies. They never go into the prophecies. It's a waste of time even dealing with Christians. Okay, let me go to Isaiah 19. And let me try to breeze through it. All right, 25 verses. Let's see what we can do. Message to Egypt. We know that this is America. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, or America, and the idols of America or Egypt shall be moved at his presence. And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. It's going to literally melt, but the people's hearts are going to melt. They're going to have no power in them. What does it say in Luke 21? It speaks about men's heart failing them for fear of those things that are coming upon the earth. Those things that are coming upon the earth is the day of the Lord, the deliverance of the children of Israel, and the destruction of this wicked empire, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance. But you have to experience the chip, whether you're going to take the chip or not. And you brothers that are mediocre, you right in the middle, you lukewarm. Ultimately, if you're lukewarm, you're not of the elect. You know, maybe the Most High, pump up your spirit or whatever. But if being in this truth, if you look at this truth in a nonchalant attitude, you're gonna take the chip, because you're gonna say, I'm not gonna starve. I got children. I got a toddler, and I got a 5-year-old, and my wife, she's nagging me about getting the chip. And you may fold under pressure. So if you do, that's on you. That's on you. And watch how many people, when they officially say everybody got to get that MOTB, watch how many brothers are going to come up and say, Tahar, is that talking about the actual chip? If you don't know that that's the actual chip, I don't know what to tell you, man. It says, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. You know what that's talking about. And they shall fight everyone against his brother. Now, like I said, a kingdom divided, a house divided against itself cannot stand. This place, Babylon the Great, is complete. Is a split. You got the blue states and the red states. You got the Democrats and the Republicans, and they hate each other. They hate each other. And everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So while you're reading this, you can go to 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the council. The council, they're gonna deal with some situations that they quagmire, a maze, a conundrum. They're gonna be in situations that they can't think their way out of it. That's also in Amos 5. and a serpent bit him, or a snake bit him. And they shall seek to the idols, to the spirit world. When you go to Isaiah chapter 47, chapter 47, verse 10, you read the whole chapter. That whole chapter is dedicated to the fall of this place. But the 10th verse on down, I believe it starts at the 10th verse, it speaks about that they got their power from the left-hand side. And to charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So behind closed doors, in front of you, they'll tell you that they believe in God and Jesus and so forth. But behind closed doors, they're praying to spiritual entities on the left-hand side. The power of America is our spirit. The power of Esau are spiritual entities on the left-hand side. That's a topic right there. Spiritual entities on the left-hand side. And fourth verse, and the Egyptians, which are the Babylonians, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. So can that cruel Lord be Trump? And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh. Saith the Lord. Right there is Yahweh of hosts. Hosts meaning armies. Let me prove that. Host meaning, let's look up the word Lord, capital L, lowercase O-R-D, and then Lord, all caps, and then host. Yeah, Yahweh Saab said, these guys be going to the blue letter. Boy, they hate us, man. Okay, so here it says, Ada 1. Let me just open this up. I'm sorry. Ada 1 means superior. See, Lord, master, like your landlord. That's what you use the word Ada 1. A general in a room of sergeants and lieutenants and majors. The Lord in the room will be the general. And then it says the Lord, capital L, lowercase O-R-D. Then it says Lord, all caps, is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Now, Bishop Nate made a statement. He said the Heavenly Father never dealt with us. Anytime the Lord dealt with us, it was Yahweh Shai. Well, how do you explain Isaac getting ready? Isaac was a young boy, and the Lord told him to kill his beloved son, his begotten son. So who was talking to him? His son wasn't talking to him, which Isaac is Yahweh Shai, unless you change that, unless you no longer believe in reincarnation. It was the Heavenly Father. Now, host, let's look up the word host. The word there is tazabah. That which goes forth, army, war, warfare, host. Right, sun, moon, stars are his hosts, a whole creation, war, warfare, service, go out to war, service. So one of the hosts of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, are the ICBM missiles. So let's come on back. 5th verse. And the water shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. You're going to have droughts. You're going to have poison in the waters. Waters being contaminated. Ultimately, that's in Revelation chapter 8. A third part, the water shall be like wormwood, which is contaminated, where if you drink it, it will kill you. 6th verse. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of the fence shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. More empty shelves, more diseases. The paper reads by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither. The fishes. So when fishes die, the good fishes, the prices go up. Be driven away and be no more. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua getting ready to open up on this place. And before the Lord comes and bring fire, this place is already going to be on fire. It said the fishes also shall mourn, and all they that cast angles in the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, and that's from the pollutants too. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks or nets shall be confounded. It said the Most High's servant shall eat, and we're gonna laugh. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna eat, and we're gonna be laughing. So when that MOTB comes, many brothers had dreams that angels will come and give us food. So guess what? That's when your faith comes in. So if you truly believe in this thing, you are right. If you don't believe in this thing, it's gonna come out. It's all gonna come out in the wash. And we're in this time, man. I would be surprised if we go to a next. I can't see another president. This guy Trump got to be the cruel Lord. And remember, he's Nero, through the Spirit. He's Nero, and Nero had a hatred for the Israelites and the Christians. Matter of fact, let me do this. This is going a little bit long. Let's go into. Let's deal with this. Nero's hatred for the Christians. And they just looked just like him. Remember, he became emperor when he's 16 years old. Okay, Nero blamed the Christians, which are the Israelites, for the fire that destroyed Rome in 64 AD. Now, scholars argue that he set the fire, he made sure he was 30 miles away from Rome as an alibi. No, I was nowhere near there. And it was started so he can turn around and blame it on them. See, it was the Christians that did that. Just like dealing with the Israelites. They had this thing in New Jersey, the guy and the chick, shot up J Market, and then they painted. See, the Israelites did that. No, it was just two people that did it. Maybe they went to the school, maybe they didn't. Maybe they were Muslims. It says, and then systematically persecuted them. So if this is Nero's doing the same thing he did back then, he's going to persecute the Israelites. Nero's persecution of Christians or Israelites was the first state sponsored persecution of Christians in the Roman Empire. So you did have his I believe his stepfather, wasn't his father, Claudius, that banished him from Rome. Okay, blame the Christian. Many people believe Nero started. Right, there it goes. Blame for the fire. Many people, which there's a fire right now happening on the other side of the East Coast, the West Coast, right? What are they talking about? It was started. It didn't happen. It didn't just happen. And it's still burning. It said many people believe Nero started the fire, and he blamed the Christians to shift the blame. The scapegoats. He himself blamed the Christians because of their supposed hatred of mankind. And mankind is another word for the Edomites, the Romans, because they were cursing them out. You had the camps out there cursing them out. He had them thrown to dogs, nailed to crosses in his gardens, and burned alive. The traditional punishment for arson. Oh, okay. So the fire started. Scholars say that he started to blame it on the Christians, and the punishment, if you burn something down, you get burnt. I didn't know that. It says to serve as living torches in the light. So this was a sadistic bastard. And that's the historian Tacitus. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. And the 15, which is the XV Roman numerals, I guess that's in the book, page 15. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Okay, let's see what it says. Lacus Curtius Tacitus. Let me see here. Okay, let's look at this. Let's see what this says. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put some keywords in here. And put in the word fire. Okay, I don't want that. Let me do this. Burn. Okay, let me do this. Okay, I'm right here. Temple, Jupiter, which Romulus, deities of the Roman people, were burnt. So too, deities of the Roman people were burnt. So too were the riches required by our Anyway, I don't want to read all of this. But it goes into like 39 of the Tacitus. Am I saying his name right? Tacitus. Nero at this time was a Antium and did not return to Rome until the fire approached his house, which he had built to connect the palace with the gardens of Maecenas. Now, he had gardens, I don't know how many acres of gardens. You can go to do the research, but he said burn them, put them on a stake and burn them in my garden so I can look at them, so he can light up the sky. So this was a sadistic bastard. It could not, however, be stopped by devouring the palace. So he had a palace, the house, and everything around it. However, to relieve the people driven out homeless as they were, and this is happening in LA, right? He threw open to them the Campus Martius. I believe that goes in the word martyrs, and the public buildings of Agrippa, which was an Edomite, and even his own gardens, and raised temporary structures to receive the destitute multitude, supplies of food. So this was a major fire. Supplies of food were brought up from Ostia and the neighboring towns, and the price of corn was reduced to 3 sesterces a peck. These acts do produce no effect, since a rumor had gone forth everywhere that at the very time when the city was in flames, the emperor appeared on a private stage and sang of the destruction of Troy. Right. The saying is he played a fiddle while Rome burned, but what he was actually playing was a lyre. It was like a fiddle. It's like a stringed instrument, but they say fiddle, right? So while this thing was burning, this guy was enjoying himself. It says a private stage and sang of the destruction of Troy, comparing the present misfortunes with the calamities of antiquity. So people started to wake up. They started to say, this is the guy. And ultimately what he did was he committed suicide, going to the history, because the people loved him when he came in, but at his advanced age, what was he, 16? I believe he lived to be about 30 years old. I'm not going to go all into it. But he did things and blamed it on the Israelites. Let me blame this on the Israelites. And it got out of control where it was getting ready to burn his palace down. But people found out that he was playing a stringed instrument, singing about the destruction of Troy. So the people started hating him. Let me do that. Let me do this here. Let me do this here. Why did Nero commit suicide? So let's get into this. This is your cruel Lord right here, right? Emperor Nero committed suicide in 68 CE to avoid being captured and executed by the Roman people. They hated him. And one of the reasons why they hated him because they were saying he was the guy that set up the fire. Nero's erratic behavior and extravagant lifestyle had made him many enemies, and he was declared a public enemy by the Senate. Hey, once the Senate hates you, that's the Praetorian Guard gets involved. They kill you. They set you up and they kill you. The majority of these emperors that got killed were killed by their armies. So he said, shit, I'm going to kill myself. Okay, what did Nero say when he died? There's your cruel Lord right here. And he's look at that. If this is not a young I'm thinking Nero, Trump. I don't know, that's Trump. And reincarnation doesn't mean, oh, he looks like the guy in the past. No, you can look totally different from your reincarnated body, but sometimes you look just like the way you looked 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. As he died, he is said to have exclaimed, "Qualis artifex perio." We can't be sure precisely what Nero meant by this. Since the phrase can be translated in several ways, it could be read as either, "What an artist I am in my death. What an artist dies with me," or "I'm dying like a tradesman." So he had his famous last words, which that's something Trump would do. Every time I go to say Trump, Nero comes in my mind. I see Trump, I see Nero. So Nero was a hellraiser, man. He was a world shaker. Hey, look, this guy got off the fucking ground running. When he got inaugurated, he started pushing them laws. He started signing them, I think, that same day, the 20th to 21st. So he changed the country around with these executive orders. So let's come on back. So he's the guy, hey, as spoke like a dragon. You want to talk about speaking like a dragon? He pushing laws through executive orders. Pushing laws through executive orders. I see him making an executive order that everybody has to get this MOTB, this microchip. And I don't get visions. I rarely get visions. But when I do, that I remember them. It says, let me read the 10th verse again. Sorry for me going long. And they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish. Surely the princes Zoan, Pharaoh, Buddhist, I just want to go to the point. I want to read the whole thing. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know Yahweh of hosts of the armies have proposed upon Egypt or Babylon the Great. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of North are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt or America, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. That's why you're going to have a whole lot of arguments in court. He's saying there's only two genders. So what do they do with these people that change their plumbing? What do they do with these people that men that dress up like women and women dress up like men? What do they do with these relationships, man on man, woman on woman? Because when a woman and woman get together, one plays the role of a masculine role and the other one plays a feminine role, and the same thing goes with two men. One plays the role of a masculine and the other plays the role of a feminine. So he said there's only two genders. So a man cannot lay with man. That's what he's basically saying. He's going back to the law. So what teeth is he gonna put on it? Is he gonna start locking them up or putting them to death? This is the same guy that he used to Giuliani, the former mayor, used to dress up like a woman, and this guy would rub up on him. These are the Caesars coming back. These are these Romans coming back. It said, Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt or America to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Now, if you watch the financial channels with these tariffs, I'm going to institute tariffs against China. Now, you got these financial experts saying, well, that's a bad move because that's going to make prices go up even more. Because you pay for the tariff. You pay for the tariff, not China. And China can institute an embargo against you where they say we ain't going to send nothing to America. Everything that you got, that you buy, when you go to BJ's or Costco's or Walmart, 95+% of the things in there is made by, I say 100%, they're all made in freaking China. If China called for a boycott or a embargo, America's fucked. 15 verse, neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, and they're going to bitch up, and shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he shaketh over it. So a lot more things are going to happen because these people don't have the answers. They don't have the answers. We, the elect, the hopeful elect, the prophets of the Lord, our comfort is in the scriptures, man. What does it say in Isaiah 33:6? It speaks about matter of fact, let me go to it. I'm sorry, let me go to it so I can read it right. This is the 17th verse. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. That's what it says. I'm not going to go to it. I don't have to go to it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. What does it mean by the land of Judah? The land of Judah is talking about a people before it's a place. So the Judah in America, they're gonna shake this place up. Everyone that maketh a mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of Yahweh of the hosts, which he hath determined against it. And that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt. Now we all agree, all ISUPK, IUIC, Sakari, any of those groups, or former one Westers, they all know that when you come across the word Egypt in Isaiah chapter 19, it's talking about America, right? So it says, in that day shall 5 cities of the land of Egypt, we know that this is talking about America, speak the language of Canaan. What's the language of Canaan? What's the language of Canaan? And swear by Yahweh of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. Is not this place the city of destruction? Let me look up the word language of Canaan. Let's see what comes up. There we go. Let me go to images. The language of Canaan is Hebrew. Phoenicians, which are the Canaanites, that's the Greek way of saying Canaan. Moabites and Ammonites, they're from that same region, so they all spoke Hebrew. The language of Canaan was a group of closely related Semitic languages spoken in ancient times in the Levant, the Middle East, and Upper Mesopotamia. The Canaanite language includes Hebrew, Phoenician, Moabite, and Ammonite. So the Ammonites, Moabites, and Canaanites spoke Hebrew. Canaanite languages. There you go. The Lashon Kodash, as we call it. Let me go to images. There we go. Let me open this up. That's the Lashon Kodash. So you got vocab saying, oh, they made that language up. Well, wait a minute. You know what? Let me do this. Let me go to the Moabite stone. The Meshe Stele. Let me do it again. The Moabite stone. That's the Moabite stone. The king of Moab. He's praising his god, Chemosh, for giving him the power to deliver the Israelites unto him. That's ancient Hebrew. That's a ah, that's a tha. You even got David's name, and even I believe you even got Yahweh's name. Let me see. The name of the God of Israel. Did I write that right? Spell that right? Okay, it should show you and it also mentions David. Okay, this is it right here. See right there? That's Yahweh. 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 And they even mentioned David, King David. It says Malak, King David. Let me do King David. King David's It should come up. Let me try it this way. That I don't like that. Let me see. Bear with me for a minute. It actually mentions King David's name, and it mentions the power of the God of Israel. You can hardly see it. The Moabite stone translation. That's what I want. Showing you that Esau knows the ancient Hebrew. I am Mesha, son of Chemosh, which is the god of the Moabite, the king of Moab, as for Omri, the king of Israel. And he humbled Moab for many years, and his son reigned in his place. And he also said, I will oppress Moab in my days. So it mentions the Most High's name, and it mentions the name of Israel, but it also mentions David's name. So the Lashon Kodash is not some language that we made up. So the language of Canaan is Lashon Kodash, which we call Lashon Kodash, which they call Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, Paleo-Hebrew, and swear by Yahweh of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. The city of destruction is Babylon the Great. And you know what? This is what I wanted. This is the main thing that I wanted. Now, if we, in that day, shall 5 cities in the land of Canaan, land of Egypt, which is what? America. Any Israelite group that's worth its salt will tell you that this Egypt is not talking about ancient Egypt. It's a future prophecy concerning the new Egypt, Sodom and Egypt. Revelation 11 and 8, Sodom and Egypt, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And scholars don't, matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this and I'm going to close. I went long. I know I went long. Let me do this. I want to go to the and when they came over here to the Americas, they found Hebrew written in certain places. You have the what is that called? A lunas deca stone or something like that. Anyway, let me do this. Give me a second. Let's see what the commentators say. All right. I want the commentary. All right. Bear with me for a minute. So we see that Trump, Nero, he's going to really do some damage. Okay, they give me a whole lot of okay, the verse may mean either that an indefinite but small number of Egyptian citizens shall be converted to the worship of Jehovah. No, that doesn't mean that. And adopt Hebrew as at least their sacred language, or that at a certain epoch there shall be 5 and no more Jewish colonies in, oh, well, I like that, Israelite colonies in Egypt, and we know that this is South America, maintaining their national language and religion. On the former view, 5 is a round number. Isaiah 30:17. And one shall flee and rebuke, blah, 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 blah. All right, so you know what? This is what I like. It says that at a certain epoch, there shall be 5 and no more Jewish colonies. What's a colonies? A group of things, a group of people, right? A community. There shall be 5 communities in America, Babylon, maintaining their national language and religion. So they kind of said it, but they're not going to say it's America because they don't know. They'll never say Babylon is America. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next.